Six Flags always seems to be a hot topic for the amusement park industry, for the right or wrong reasons. Six Flags has been going through some wild times during the pandemic, and the effects of their actions will likely last for years to come. Many of the attractions that Six Flags intended to open in 2020 were delayed to 2021, but now some of these rides are even being pushed back to 2022. Today we're going to be investigating which Six Flags rides are being delayed even further, what Six Flags is looking to accomplish by doing this, and how this reflects on what Six Flags is doing as a whole. Before we jump right into that, do me a big favor by hitting that like button and subscribing to the channel for more Six Flags coverage coming to you very soon. I'll be offering up lots of coverage on Six Flags this season, and I'd hate for you to miss it. So make sure to smash that subscribe button. Now, with all that out of the way, let's jump into our first topic, which will be discussing the state of Six Flags' additions that were intended for 2020. Back in late 2019, Six Flags announced new additions coming to every park with the exception of Six Flags Magic Mountain due to delays in construction with West Coast racers. However, Six Flags had to go through numerous shutdowns in the spring of 2020 due to the COVID-19 pandemic, which put the availability of those attractions into question and completely disrupted the timeline for the openings of those attractions. When parks were allowed to reopen in some parts of the country in the summer of 2020, they were faced with numerous restrictions, so this led Six Flags to have to make decisions on if they wanted their new attractions to open amid pandemic restrictions. And for the most part, the answer to that question was no. Obviously, the parks that were unable to open didn't open new attractions, so for those parks that did not open, the attractions that they were supposed to get were obviously delayed. There were some attractions that did open in 2020 that were intended to open in 2020 in the Six Flags chain. Six Flags Over Georgia opened Catwoman Whip in Zamperla and Endeavor, and Poison Ivy Toxic Twister, a scrambler, as part of a revamp of the Gotham City area at that park. Crazanity, a Zamperla giant discovery at Six Flags Mexico, also opened in 2020. That ride actually opened just days prior to the closure of the park in March, so who knows what would have happened had the ride not opened early. Toward the end of the season, Daredevil Dive Flying Machines opened at Six Flags Fiesta Texas for a preview toward the end of the season. As far as I know, those were the only attractions to open in the Six Flags chain in 2020. That leaves 11 attractions that did not open in 2020 for Six Flags that were intended to open in 2020. For the 2021 season, we do know that Jersey Devil Coaster will open at Six Flags Great Adventure. Tsunami Surge at Six Flags Great America is said to be opening in 2021 as well. Adirondack Outlaw will be opening at Great Escape after numerous controversy regarding the permits to actually build the ride. Supergirl Skyflyer is also said to be opening at Six Flags New England in 2021, but we do not have confirmation on that. Wahoo Racer could potentially be opening at Hurricane Harbor in Oklahoma City as well, but once again we do not have confirmation on that either. Catwoman Whip will be opening at Six Flags St. Louis. Harley Quinn Spinsanity will be opening at Six Flags America. Now that leaves 4 attractions left over. We got confirmation from Six Flags Darien Lake that Wahoo Wave is being pushed back to 2022. We also know that Aquaman Power Wave will be opening in 2022 at Six Flags Over Texas, supposedly with a turntable. That leaves Vipair and Sidewinder Safari as unknowns, along with some other rides that I mentioned earlier that were not confirmed to be opening in 2021. Those coasters will likely be delayed till 2022 and even possibly be canceled as a whole. There's still a handful of these attractions that we don't have set in stone timeframes for when they could potentially open. This tells us that there's a lot of uncertainty in the Six Flags chain. A lot of you guys might be asking why Six Flags is delaying rides 1 or even 2 years based on a park by park basis. This is a very interesting question, and it provides a lot of different answers based on each park. Obviously, the parks that were closed in 2020 could not open new attractions, but then there were some parks that did open 2020 that did not open their attractions until 2021 or possibly later. Also, some parks like Six Flags Darien Lake that were closed for 2020 are delaying their attractions until 2022, even though there are parts on site for the ride. There's no one good answer that explains all the delays, but my thinking with this was that the initial intention of Six Flags and the other parks that delayed new coasters and new rides was to help their new rides get better reception. With all the new capacity restrictions, 2020 was bound to be a throwaway year for almost every park in the country. Most parks that had new big attractions planned for 2020 delayed them to 2021 in hopes that things would improve and they wouldn't have big capacity restrictions, and hopefully their attendance would be back to normal. Unfortunately for them, that does not appear to be the case, so this has pretty much put Six Flags in full scramble mode, and they don't really have a plan for what they're going to do with some of these new attractions in the future. Now, there definitely are some other things at play. Obviously, your construction team not being able to come in the country that they actually need to be in to construct the ride can be a problem, like we saw at SeaWorld, though that could be happening at Six Flags as well. Also, some companies may be struggling to keep employees, so it'll be tough to build rides when they don't really have employees, so that could also be a potential reason for some rides being delayed as well. But overall, there's a lot of uncertainty surrounding Six Flags additions, mainly because there's no real plan on when they should actually put the rides out to the public. There's no real blueprint on how to tackle anything like this. Obviously, we haven't really seen anything like this ever, really. So it's just basically a game of trial and error for Six Flags and all the other parks that are trying to build new attractions during these times. If I had to speculate, I'd honestly expect some of these rides that we've been seeing that aren't really confirmed to be opening in 2021 to honestly be delayed to 2022. It appears that a large majority of the parks will either be under self-imposed capacity restrictions or state-imposed capacity restrictions, so there's not a whole lot of motive for Six Flags to be opening some of their attractions. It's really unfortunate, but that seems to be the truth for a lot of parks during this time. Unfortunately, this kind of leads me to the next part of the video on how this really affects Six Flags' future plans as a whole, and I don't really see a whole lot going with Six Flags in the future. I honestly don't think we'll be seeing any brand new rides coming to Six Flags in 2022, unfortunately, due to all the delays we've had and all the catching up Six Flags needs to do. And I also don't think we'll see any new rides that are going to be announced in the future until capacity restrictions are fully lifted on parks and they've had a year or two to recover from all the financial impact that they've taken. However, it wouldn't surprise me to see a new ride or two pop up at a Six Flags park here or there over the next couple of years. It would definitely make a whole lot of sense for Six Flags to single one park out to invest in, especially how some parks have significant advantages over others, with capacity and attendance restrictions varying on a state-by-state basis. It also wouldn't surprise me to see a small-scale ride relocation program utilized for the time being. There would be many benefits to this, but I'll have to save that for another video. I'd also expect to see some creative new marketing schemes for Six Flags if they don't have new rides to advertise, so that'll be pretty interesting to see as well. But overall, I think Six Flags is just going to hold tight for the time being, and I don't really know what the future holds for them. There's a lot of uncertainty for the rides that were announced to be coming in 2020, so I guess we're just going to have to hold tight and see what happens, because I don't really think Six Flags has a massive plan for that either right now. But I'd like you guys to tell me what you guys think on what reasons Six Flags might be delaying rides for, and when you think some of these rides will actually open. Make sure to leave all those thoughts down in the comments below so I can hear them. Also, if you have any information on some of the delayed rides, please share it in the comments below so everybody can know. There's a lot of things at play here, so I'd love to know any knowledge you guys have. That'll just about do it for today's video. I'd like to thank you guys for all making it to this point. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe to the channel as well if you haven't already. But guys, with all that being said, I'd like to thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.